have raised quite a bit from some pretty incredible investors. So if you could share more with us on what the fundraising journey has been like, I think that'd be great.
Yeah. I feel like I'm not the best guy for this. I'm gonna answer, but I want to just preface by saying that like fundraising sucks for everyone. Uh, it's also incredibly unfair, and I just have beef just in general with tech and startups. And that comes through in my investor updates, as I'm sure you've seen. But my beef with all of this is that the right people often don't get the money. The people that do get the money are the good storytellers, the people that have some charisma that can, either start a company or become a con artist. And that's a little unfair. Uh, but I think that's the reality. So when we're talking about early stage fundraising, it doesn't really matter how good your deck is. It doesn't even matter how good your idea is, really. It matters how good you sell it. So I think that for anyone that's struggling with fundraising, obviously the team matters. Yeah, the team does matter. Obviously the idea does matter, sure. But what's most important is whoever is the CEO is they're telling a hell of a story, and you're really selling that vision. And I feel like that's the advice nobody wants to hear. And I feel like that's also the advice that nobody wants to give because it takes away from that shine that you have when you raise money. But I don't give a shit. I don't care if anyone in tech likes me. Uh, I think that's just the reality. It's just that like it's hard. Um, but when you're fundraising, it's mostly about the story. And then once you have one great investor behind you, all of the investors stop caring and they just invest. So it really comes down to getting that one investor who believes in you, um, and is obviously a good partner to you, right? Like, keeping in mind that most of them are just bankers. I prefer to take investors that are operators. They've started companies before. They've stared into the abyss like I have, and they get it. But the truth is that like you just need one. You need one great VC that has a little bit of clout. And a lot of people talk shit on like the Twitter investors. But the reality is, if they back you, everyone else wants to back you too. So a lot of our success really comes down again to luck. Jeff Morse Jr. backed us early with chapter one. Um, and I think that like that for us was huge because he has so much clout. So having him back us was, I mean, we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for that. And then of course, like we worked hard, and we continue to work hard, and our team is very strong. But we had to just continue selling, telling that story. And when I say telling that story, it's not me saying like, you know, the obvious platitudes of like, tell a good story. It's me really working on what is our pitch. And every time I told a joke in my pitch, it seemed natural, but that was fucking scripted. At the 3-minute mark, that joke that seemed natural, that was written down, refined, scripted, but I always made it feel like, hey, this is off the cuff. I want them to think I'm a genius when they walk away. So I never used a deck. I always pitched just like I'm pitching or talking to you guys now. Um, and then, the thing with investors is they don't really care about your idea. Not like you care about it. They care about it for an hour. For as long as that pitch lasts, they care about your idea. And they care enough to poke holes in it. Because really, they're just looking for problems. They're not looking for reasons to like it. They're looking for reasons not to like it. But what tends to happen is they have the same reasons not to like it. And that's to your advantage. So every time they have those reasons, you should have a notebook at your desk and write those down. Every time you stumble with your pitch and they get you in a position where you're like, shit, I don't know how to answer that, or I felt stupid answering that, just write it down and then practice that and put that into the pitch. And I always structure the pitches where I address the problems that I know they're going to come at me with before they have the chance to ask them. I want them on their back foot, and that's how I've approached fundraising. I've pitched, I mean, probably a little over 100 times now. We've heard no 9 times. It's not because I'm brilliant. It's not because we're doing anything that's special. It's a game like any other, and you got to know what they're looking for. And that's stupid. I think it's really dumb. I think it's a joke. And do you have an advantage if you're from an Ivy League? Yeah, hell yes, of course you do. If you're from a company with a halo effect like Stripe or whatever, yeah. But if you don't, then you got to work harder. So I know it's not a good answer to fundraising. And like I said, I'm not the guy to go to for fundraising because I'm super jaded. But it's the reality. As you get bigger, the numbers matter more, the idea matters more. But early stage, no one gives a shit. They're just looking for a reason to put money behind you, and it's not their money. So, yeah. That said, I love all of our investors. Everyone on our cap table is incredible, except for one person. Everyone except for that one person is incredible.